Batisi TV, Lawan Rashipi Daka Frank Yamaha, the Maxi Sports Scooter Arox 155. Ringkat Bakanet Foodish, Ordar Mapi, Ninwan Ramani, Hakir Dobying Jompi.
Menteri Rambak Kejelau Konrad Kongkol Sangma haka arpu artrik no opera arajar arpu ar. Ulah pelipat ba ya ke Shlem Treikam thamai jong ke Shillong Press Club kabadan Marsenda bar ke Shlem Treikam jong ke Directorate of Information and Public Relations Shillong kabadan Halowa Lajong. Ke Shillong Press Club ke lar khiru haka ni ke singi ke jingya linti ya ke laipau tuli ki maumer nadu balaseng ya ka house Snem khakhandai spa khandai pu ar malum lang hapok wei ksatri ya ki nong thok khubor jong ke jela miglea barok kawei. Hakajing play gani ke Shlem Treikam jong Shillong Press Club la sakhilang do Commissioner and Secretary IPR u Praveen Bakshi u Secretary IPR u Israel Ingti u Director jong ketenan Information and Public Relations u MS Sangma u Senior Member jong Press Council of India u Mr. Jai Shankar Gupta u President ke Shillong Press Club u ba David Light Plang mat kinong thok khubor jong kilat pathai khubor pair ki badan nong ba Shillong.
This will be adorning your wall, but we'll be having more over here as well, sir.
This will be put up here, right?
No, this is for you, sir.
For me. You should put up here.
No, the big one will go up. Yeah. Yes. Reason being that for those who may not know, yes, we have been as old as 30 years. We've been in first of all, where the disaster management office is now, used to be where the founding team of the Shillong Press Club sat, 4 or 5 of them. And because it was an old dilapidated building, it was the kind-hearted DIPR that came forward to say, you need a better place to work. May not be the finest, but at least a decent place. And ever since, we have been in Lower Lajong. We have been working in a rented accommodation, again supported very actively by the IPR. And finally, we have within the IPR complex itself, which in itself is remarkable because nowhere else in this country does a press club exist within the IPR complex. So the magnanimity of the Directorate of Information and Public Relations and the overall support of the government to Meghalaya over these 30 long years and over these 2 decades or so that I've been actively involved in pursuing this, we have not really had to fight for it. We have met and appealed and interacted with all our previous chief ministers, our previous IPR ministers, and directors and commissioner secretaries and all government officials. And not once must I say have I ever received a no. It has always been a positive yes. And surely I am very happy today because it is 50 years of our statehood, 30 years of our press club. And we were planning at the beginning of the year to do something remarkable on the 50th anniversary as a press fraternity. And I thought this would be the most befitting commemoration of our 50 glorious years. And none better than to celebrate it with those that have always handheld us, supported us in times of need, through tough times. We have had rough journeys together, and sir, for your kind information, I would like to place on record my deep gratitude to the IPR Minister. We are missing our IPR Minister today. Unforeseen circumstances prevented him from being with us, but all along, either through a message or through a phone call or a quick visit to his office or to his house, he has been always there at the helm of affairs, asking what's happening, where are we. And I know if he was here today, he would have had a lot more to share with us about how genuinely him coming from a media background especially knew our challenges. He knew our challenges as local journalists in a small state which is bereft of many facilities. And the one thing that I really appreciated about Mr. James Sama was that he said, no matter what, I like the smile on your face, because he said that's what a journalist always does. He puts his worries behind and he carries the responsibility of what he has been bestowed upon.
Later. I am told that Kunarad Sangma is very media friendly. So, thanks and congratulations. I was great. First of all, I will pay my respect. I was in tears in my eyes when I see the picture that artist had presented. Your father, Purnoya Sangma, a great son of this great soil and true national leader from Northeast. He was close friend of us, of Delhi press. So, what to say? You may know, Press Council of India is a watchdog body. The first Press Commission has recommended for establishment of Press Council of India to preserve the freedom of press and for maintaining the high standards of the newspaper and news agencies. Press Council of India was established on 4th July 1966, which started functioning from 16th November 1966. That's why we celebrate 16th November as National Press Day every year. PCI was abolished during emergency days in 1976 to control media. But in 1978, Janata Party government reconstituted it with Press Council Act of Parliament. Now it started working from March 1979. A semi-quasi-judicial body, again, it has chairman, chairperson and 28 members. 20 members from media, 5 members from Parliament, both houses, and 1 is member from Bar Council of India, University Grant Commission, and 1 from Sahitya Academy. PCI reconstituted after 3 years. In past, we had members like George Fernandez, L.K. Arwani, Ramjesh Malani, Edward Valerio, V.N. Gadgil, H.V. Kamath like parliamentarians, Memon Matthew, R.K. Karanchia, C.R. Irani, B.G. Varghese, Prem Bhatia, M.J. Akbar, Rabbir Sahib, and senior journalists. Look after in the matters of TV channels and digital media, social media, etc. PCI is empowered to make observations in respect of conduct of any authority, including government, if considered necessary for performance of its functions under the PCI Act. The Council can warn, admonish, or ensure the newspaper news, censor the newspaper news agency, the editor or the journalist, or disapprove the conduct of the editor or the journalist if it finds that a newspaper news agency has not complied with the standards of journalistic ethics, which norms I have submitted to the Honorable Chief Minister. Nowadays, you see, media has expanded in so many dimensions. When I came in this field, there was saying that इस वक्त वहां कौन धुआं देखने जाए, इस वक्त वहां कौन धुआं देखने जाए, अखबार में पढ़ लेंगे कहां आग लगी थी. Means, who will go to there to see the smoke? we read in the newspaper where fire was broken.
It gives me great happiness, in fact, today to be here amongst all of you to inaugurate the new office and, in fact, the permanent office of the Shillong Press Club, and also to be part here of the celebration to commemorate National Press Day as well as commemorate the 30 years of the Shillong Press Club. I take this opportunity to really congratulate and to wish all of you the very best, especially the President and the Secretary of the Shillong Press Club and all the members who are present out here. So there are factors and of course there are systems that need to be set up, and I'm sure that under the leadership of our President and Secretary of the Shillong Press Club and under the guidance of the DIPR, I'm sure that the Shillong Press Club will be able to achieve that goal, and as I said, from a simple office you'll make it into a very functional organization, and this organization will then finally function as a press club, and that's what really the objective of ensuring that you have this space is in the long run. I really am very happy and excited for all of you because I know that you've been talking about this to me also a lot. And Mr. James Sangma, the Honorable Minister for DIPR, has been somebody who has been very, very particular about this case. And I want to put it on record, as has been said by the President of the Press Club, that this has happened because of the special attention that has been given by Mr. James Sangma. He has really pushed the bar and he has really pushed the limits to ensure that this happened fast, it happened in the proper way. And so the credit goes to Mr. James Sangma, and sadly he's not here with us. He had some other engagements, but he has asked me to share his thoughts and tell you that he understands the concerns of the media, because he's a person who is himself a person who's has been associated with the media. He's a person whose qualification is in fact in media. He's a person who has started from the scratch. He understands the challenges that the media houses and the journalists and the different press people face in Shillong. So a person who has understood all of that and come through all of that, you can say he's part of your fraternity completely. In fact, you can give him one room and one table also out here. He'll be very happy with that. So he is somebody who understands all of that, and that's why, knowing and coming from that background, he was very, very particular that this happened. So I really would like to thank him also in his absence. I would like to thank him for taking this initiative and really ensuring that the press is able to get that kind of infrastructure that you deserve. Having said that, I just have a few thoughts that I would like to share with you. And nothing too critical, don't worry. Of course, first of all, जय शंकर जी, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि आज आप हमारे साथ यहाँ पे हैं। और मुझे मालूम है कि जब लेट पी सांगमा जी जब दिल्ली में काफ़ी साल, करीब 45 साल 40 साल वो दिल्ली में मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट होकर वो रहे हैं, और जब हम छोटे थे तो हमें नायक जी और बहुत सारे जर्नलिस्ट घर में आते रहते थे। तो आपका जो रिलेशनशिप है पिताजी के साथ जो था, और जिस तरीके से उनका जो कनेक्शन जो सारे प्रेस के लोगों के साथ था दिल्ली में, उसके बारे में हमने बचपन से ही देखा है और बचपन से हम लोगों ने उसको ऑब्जर्व किया है। और क्योंकि वो खुद भी एक जर्नलिस्ट थे, शायद आपको मालूम नहीं होगा या मालूम था, जर्नलिस्ट भी इन्होंने न्यूज़पेपर भी शुरू किया, करते करते फिर वो राजनीति में और पॉलिटिक्स में वो आ गए। तो बिल्कुल आपका जो आपने कहा वो सही है कि उनका जो एक रिलेशनशिप वो पहले से था, और मुझे अच्छा लगा कि आज आप यहाँ पे आए और एक पुराने दोस्त, पिताजी के दोस्त से भी आज मुलाकात हुई, तो मुझे खुद भी बहुत अच्छा लगा है। तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। So having said that, we have as a government and as a political leader, I think all of you are quite aware that we have always been very positive to the criticisms, I could say, to what news articles that come out, and we have never reacted in very negative manner to all the kind of articles that may have come up. Because I personally have always believed that there has to be a balancing act. There's always needs to be a balancing act. Nobody is perfect, nobody is right in everything, and nobody will always get everything right. And therefore, there always has to be a balancing, and there's a cross-checking mechanism has to be in place. And that's what democracy is all about. And hence, the role of the media is something that we must realize is very, very critical in a democracy. And in order to be able to see things move in the right manner, in the balanced manner, so that there is no overall kind of too much of control and power in one center, I think it's important that the press and the media is given its importance and is always taken in a very, very positive way. But having said that, as Jaishankar ji has mentioned, that as we move along, we see that the kind of the press articles or the kind of news that comes out, in some cases, tends to then have different colors, tends to have different deviations, and tends to have different forms and different areas of interest. And I think that is where things start getting a bit mixed up. So therefore, it's not always easy. Nothing, again, is perfect, even in the media and the press. There will always be problems, there will always be situations. But I think as a press club, it's important to keep track of these things. And I think it's important that I don't know how to say this, but we are so used to saying this word, so I just say training, I guess, and really upgrading and ensuring that sensitization takes place, and you bring in journalists from outside, you take our journalists outside, let them see, let them feel, let them understand, let them hear how things are happening outside and other places. Let the other people come in and see what's happening. Maybe there's a lot people can learn from our journalists out here. So I think it's important to have sensitization programs, training programs. I have always heard about the journalist code, but this is the first time I'm receiving a copy of it, so it's so nice to have it. And I just want to ask, how many of you have this actually? And how many of you have read it? It's a very direct question I'm asking. And how many of you have read it? Has there been a training session held by the press club of Shillong to actually go through these different codes once in a while? So every 6 months, every 1 year, have you gone through this? Maybe discussion and debates about, what are these codes? Is it good or not? And sensitizing the press club. And the fact that you have a press club, I think it's important that the press club should act as not just a meeting point for the journalist, but also a point where you are able to then have a basic code and training for the journalists who are coming in and say, well, now that you have completed these many days of sensitization, you are in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do it, but at least unofficially within yourself, I think you should do it. I think it's important. And having said that, I'm not saying you're unprofessional. Please don't take it like that. But I think it's, in any walk of life, there is always room for improvement. No matter who you are, there's always room for learning. There's always room to get better. There's always room to understand the larger picture of things and try to work towards ensuring that you're actually contributing. And at the end of my speech, I would like to just add to what Mr. Jaishankar said, because he said a very beautiful thing. And I think some people caught it and some did not. That at the end of the day, no matter what you do, the larger goal and picture has to be kept in mind. You have to always ask yourself and ask members who are joining in. I was looking, I'm sorry, President Saab, yeah. So I was just mentioning, I was just looking, like for example, the press club, of Shillong Press Club, should have a motto. What is your motto? What is the press club here for? You see, that should be your overarching goal that guides you and drives you to do what you are supposed to do with a larger goal. It could be the press club of Shillong, motto, the truth prevails, or I don't know, something like that. Or, our society, balanced society, something that is there. What I'm saying is for any individual, any organization, unless you have that guiding principle, unless you have that motto in front of you that this is what our overarching goal is, or ultimately what we want to do, I think you will lose track of things. It's so easy in today's world, the social media, blah, 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 so many things happening. So it's just in a second, before you know it, you're out. But I think if you have your eye on the ball and you know that this is what we are here for, then yes, there may be small distractions a bit here and there, but ultimately we come back to the larger picture. And that's what should drive all of you. So journalism, and a lot in politics also, it is the credibility and the trust that is very, very important. We can get away by saying one line or two lines. As a politician, I can say one line. And I may just get the votes at that moment for that particular election day. But then people won't trust me the next time. So therefore, I think it goes similarly for journalism also, for any newspaper, for any website or any electronic media, that the credibility, the trust, the consistency, the truth, I think 4, 5 these words are so important in politics, and the same for you in press also. And therefore, we may be tempted to write a few things just because we want to get the, what do you call that? What's the technical word? TRPs. So to get the TRPs. But then, then what's the use if the trust is gone tomorrow? What's the use if nobody believes you tomorrow? Then, there's nothing left. So I think always think long term. Always keep the consistency and credibility in mind. And I think that's really the long way to go. Maybe the tough way, maybe difficult, may take more time, but at the end you will come out more successful is what I feel.